Why most people fail to stay positive and why it's killing their potential. Fresh day, either snow or rain, and then you get into that gratitude moment where it's either you're participating in it and enjoying it, or you're just not acknowledging it and disguising it. Optimism, seeing the glass half full instead of half empty, and how optimism can benefit is just seeing the upper perspective and coming from the top point of view and feeling the works that needs to be accomplished or resonate or whatever it takes, and it just taking it in as it comes. So being optimistic is the grand pronto, and it's good to be optimistic. What if optimism wasn't about being positive and it's more about power? Most people think that being optimistic is smiling when things go wrong, pretending that everything is okay, enforcing the good vibes. That is not optimism, that's denial. Real optimism is strategic decision and it's interpreted reality, and that decision can determine everything. What is the major decision between optimism and pessimism? And optimism believes that challenges are temporary and doable and solvable. Pessimism believes that challenges are permanent and defining. Same event, different interpretations. When challenges occurs, the pessimism says, hey, I'm not cut out for this. But however, the optimism says, hey, what can I improve? And the pessimist sees the identity and the optimism sees the feedback. Optimism expands possibilities and pessimism contracts it. So your nervous system responds accordingly. One's fuel for action and the other one's fuels for hesitation. Optimism increases resilience. When you believe things can improve, you go for it and you go and you adapt and you move and you do it accordingly. Avoid pain, they don't marry it. Optimism improves the health and then lowers the stress. Generally, they have a stronger immune system and more emotionally stable. So optimism creates momentum. So then that belief drives behavior. If you believe something is possible, then you're attained to achieve that and you act differently. Now, what are the dangers of optimism? And it's the blind side, and you ignore the risks, and that could be a problem. You think it says that everything will work out without changing the behavior. That is a fantasy. Now, true optimism says that I believe this can work, and I'm willing to do the work until it does. Optimism without discipline becomes an illusion. But optimism paired with strategy, now that's unstoppable. Now, let's be fair. Pessimism is useful. It's not that it's not useful. It sharpens awareness and it sees danger, anticipates problems, so it prepares for contingency plans. It asks questions like, what could go wrong? But if that's the only question you ask, then you never move. Now, here's the problem. Chronic pessimism creates paralysis. You second guess yourself and you shrink. You stop taking risks and you stop growing. Pessimism feels intelligent, however, it kind of can trap you in a cage. Expecting loss makes you avoid the opportunities. So what does it take to be an optimist? And what it takes is the emotional regulations. You cannot be optimistic if your nervous system is constantly in threat mode. It takes self-awareness to overcome that, and you must catch the negative story before it actually becomes your identity. Optimism is not a mood. You can choose to ask, what is this teaching me and how can I use this? And where is the opportunity that I see in this? Now, that choice repeated daily rewires your life experience. And optimism is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing the interpretation that hone in on your power. So now the real question is, are you interpreting your life and your reality in a way that shapes you or strengthen you? Optimism and pessimism are your story, and guess what? You are the narrator. Guess what? Guess what? Optimism and pessimism are stories, and guess what? You are the narrator. So choose wisely. What is the difference between optimism and pessimism, and how to channel each one that can guarantee you just coming on top of the thing? And what are the challenges of for being optimistic? It's like facing the day and facing the fact you still gotta face something, and it's absorbing it as well, absorbing it.
Pero ando a pie, te voy a contar lo que anoche soñé. Que me compré un palo y adiós, ay. Me mataron como a Tupac y a Notorio. Pero mi novia llegó en un Ferrari.
Optimism is you get to look at things from the upside perspective, and you have a wider range of be able to observe and look.